discretion is advised.
Hey everyone, this video is brought to you by Audible. Audible is offering you a free audiobook with a 30-day free trial membership. All you need to do is go to audibletrial.com/BGUnlocked. The link is in the description below, and now enjoy the video. Hey everyone, welcome to the discussion for Empires of the North. So, we actually just got done playing Imperial Settlers. If you're here from that discussion, we will be doing probably quite a few comparisons from this to that because this is the newest Imperial Settlers. With that being said, what do you guys think of Empires of the North?
I like Imperial Settlers more.
but
that doesn't mean this is bad.
Right. That seems to be the general consensus. The people I've played both of these with, they still liked Imperial Settlers more. And even though I have now played every faction except that one, and I will say, once again, all the factions do play different.
Mm-hmm.
I would almost argue they play more different in this one than they do Imperial Settlers.
Oh, yeah.
But I think that's because they kind of have to.
Yeah.
You have your own faction deck, and kind of their own central theme. That you're only going through the faction deck in this one, and there's no common things to kind of create the variety of your own civilization, like in Imperial Settlers. So if you want more of a theme with your faction, or a more focused thing, then you might want to look at this one over Imperial Settlers. But other than that, I mean, still the faction shows up in Imperial Settlers. This one just does a little bit more. Babe, what do you think?
I also like Imperial Settlers more, but like this just kind of reminds me of Scythe, and then My Little Scythe.
Oh.
Like, it's just kind of more of like a gentle version. The artwork is different. So I still like this one just for different reasons.
Right. Whenever we first played this, we played this one first, then we went to Imperial Settlers, and I really didn't like this game at first, but I realized I played my faction completely wrong. I was playing the Olaf clan. They're the ones that are all about sailing constantly and conquering, and they have a bunch of cards that are about moving, like, so you know how, like, you sailed quite a bit, and I'd go after you. They're all about moving their ships further up the track, so they get first pick, and they have a bunch of instants that let them pillage or conquer immediately. And things like that, but I didn't use them for that. So I was like, man, I really don't like this game. However, I played them again, and they actually, in the solo game, they did the best. Not by much, like 44 points compared to like 43 and 241, so everyone was really balanced. Same question I'm going to ask. Do you think the factions in this game are balanced?
Seeing as I've never played this faction before.
Yeah.
You never playing that, and then Kat, I believe, has played that one before.
Yeah.
Twice. It took me a while to figure out how my faction worked,
Mm-hmm.
and then by the time I figured it out, I'm like, well, there's nothing I can do about it. So, my representation of it is that it's not balanced, but that's more my fault more than anything. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's really funny. So it's kind of like a risk reward almost with the different levels of the faction. So this one was the hardest to play, and I would argue, yes, it is very much, because at the beginning of the game I was like, I don't know how I'm going to do this, but then as the game kept going, I started seeing and getting the cards out that I was like, oh, and I can assign to this, and I can pull them off and get a point, then I can,
And I jokingly said before, I'm like, it's investing, you have a business degree.
So then I'm like, oh, so I can move all these resources around and get points for it.
This is
and
why
then,
you went to college.
And then, like, you just store a whole bunch of stuff, and then the storage kicks off, and I was like,
Yeah.
well, Kat's really catching up to me on points, so I'm just gonna use these for points.
Yeah.
I
I caught up once.
will say though, the key to this one is they do not have a lot of buildings. Like, this whole discard pile, there are 1, 2, 3 buildings. The rest are boost cards. So I'm not winning by playing a bunch of building cards.
Yeah.
Because I think I had, 10, and you guys had 16 or something, so like Cat, you almost caught up to Cat just by your sheer locations
Mhm.
alone. But because it was more difficult, I'm glad it paid off. That it wasn't difficult, and I'm like, this is
Fuck, yeah.
I'm still not even doing well.
Yeah.
So this is my favorite faction. Funny enough, the other faction I really like is the level 1, the Glen clan, because they copy a bunch of their stuff, which is really neat. Actually, since I played all of them except that one, I really like all the factions. Like, they all feel different enough. That one's fun because you just gather a bunch of resources and then turn them in for your own points. And then the Olaf clan is all about the sailing. So, I would say that... I would say they're balanced, and the reason why I say that is because I played 4 factions solo for the same scenario, and from the best to last was a 3-point difference.
That's
So
really good.
They all did basically equally well. What about you?
I mean, it's kind of misleading just because in this game, like, you've got a 20-point lead.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like it's hard to be like, yeah, they're balanced, even though you got 20 points ahead of us.
Yeah. And there's a caveat to that very statement that none of us did, and I'll explain whenever you're done.
Oh, okay. But also, I had to miss out on like a really crucial card that really could have buffed me, just because I couldn't afford it in the beginning.
Oh, which
And
one?
It's called Gift, and it's spend a wood to unexhaust a card. And it just would have helped.
Yeah.
Yeah, or gain a point, but I mean, I would have been doing both.
Right.
Because I got all my really good cards, but I bypassed this one because I was like, I can't literally spend all my people.
Yeah,
I should have just done it. But
And like I missed out on one too, the sales.
Yeah.
Spend a gold, which I had 6 of by the end of it, to get a point for each thing with at least 3.
yeah,
By the end of that would have been 3 points each time I
you
used
really
it.
missed out.
And that was the very first card. I'm like, I don't need that.
Right, I was like, I don't know if I can justify spending like all my people right now.
So the thing too, where it's like, yeah, I have a 20-point lead. That is true. However, the one thing none of us did, is none of us attacked each other.
I forgot we could even
Yeah.
do that.
I was like, oh, what?
You spend an axe
Oh,
to
yeah.
exhaust someone else's card, and it's as simple as that. So if you're looking at it, the thing that I kept pulling things off of and unexhausting, you can be like, oh, okay, I'll attack that, so that just gets tapped, and I have no way to unexhaust that.
Totally forgot
Tapped is
about that.
copyrighted.
Sorry, I have no way to... Yeah,
Just
you
shut the
exhaust
fuck
it.
up.
I
Don't
know.
claim the video,
yeah,
wizards.
yeah. So it gets exhausted, therefore I wouldn't have been cycling as much of my banks as I was. So that... It's not as crucial, because even in Imperial Settlers, you hardly attack each other. You can, and it might benefit you to do so, but same in this one.
Especially if you're the Romans.
Right. So I don't see attacking being super beneficial, but if you have a way to generate a bunch of axes, then it's like, okay, so he has a huge point lead on us. What card does he seem like super keen on using?
Yeah.
And, oh, I do have a second trade deal. And 3 sales.
Believe it or not, I do have a lot of ways to... Well, I have 2 cards that generate axes.
Yeah.
But I'd have a bunch of people. I slowly figured out, hey, my clan's about being nomads.
Yeah.
So constantly sailing, constantly fishing,
Mm-hmm.
and then constantly generating fish.
Yeah. Yeah, so there were times where a key thing would be useful, or so now to say if that would have fixed it, maybe not, who knows, but it's like, or okay, well, what does he need? I had to action all of these and exhaust them to store stuff on, so it's like, okay, well, I'll just attack that, tap it, now you can't assign anything to it. So it's interesting. Like, I feel like this game kind of promotes more aggression than the other one.
It definitely does.
Just because, in the other one, yeah, you remove a card, but at least they get a building and a wood out of it. This one, you just can't use the card. What do you guys think of the action wheel? That is the biggest difference between this and Imperial Settlers.
I like it and dislike it at the same time.
Okay.
I like the fact that we're all limited to technically 4 actions on it.
Mm-hmm.
I dislike how you can only go adjacent.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Because then it comes up to, I don't know if in the book for instance, as a specific way to
No, you shuffle the tiles and then lay them out.
say, because then you're at the mercy of hopefully these two are next to each other, or
Yeah.
hopefully these two are next to one another.
I actually like how it's randomized.
Yeah, it definitely promotes like more thought.
Mm-hmm.
It does.
Whenever I went to Gen Con and got this, I knew it was similar to Imperial Settlers. And I went up to the guy and I was like, okay, sell this to me. Like, what? If I have Imperial Settlers, why would I get this? And he explained to me, well, the biggest difference is this action wheel. That you, like, in Imperial Settlers, like, and we mentioned it in the discussion there, you're limited to the cards you get. So if you don't have any cards that you drew that give you the resources you need to build stuff, you're kind of hosed. This gets rid of that. You can always at least build something. You can always harvest something. You can always populate. And in all honesty, I like Imperial Settlers because you get stronger and stronger as you go. This one is similar. And I really like how, funny enough, I hated it when we first played it, how your goods were gone if you spent them and they don't repopulate. I still like Imperial Settlers' way of doing it better. I like how you get your goods back at the beginning of every round, and you just will most likely keep getting more and
It
more.
just feels more friendly.
Yeah. This one or Imperial Settlers?
Imperial
Gotcha.
Settlers.
Yeah.
This one's more friendly in terms of players, but like, yeah, like if you spend your stuff and you're like, crap, I'm out, then you have to spend time to harvest them. But at the same time, there are cards like this one, spend one person to harvest, sail, or populate. So there are ways and islands out there that give you actions that you can spend to just bypass that. So you're not totally limited to 2 actions, 2 to 4 actions. And I like that. I think the wheel gives it a little bit more flexibility and more control than like what you were saying, oh, there's a crucial card I could have needed and I didn't get it, so I'm fucked. This one's like, okay, well, I don't have anything that generates stone. And I didn't. But some of my cards required stone. It's like, okay, fine. Then I'll just construct and I still get to build it. Which is neat. I like the boost cards. I think that's interesting. That the kind of boost that you have, you can hold on to and be like, okay, well, I don't need to populate now, but to make the best use out of this card, I will populate later on and then use it. Like gain 1 good for each bank in my empire, max of 3. I'll wait till I get 3 banks and then net 3 gold for it. So I really like that. What do you think, babe? About the action wheel?
Yeah, I like that it obviously does set them apart. I already kind of said, you know, it promotes like thinking it through. Like there was a time where I had to very carefully plan. I was like, okay, I've already been here, and since I have one that lets me move my clan action pawn again, I was like, okay, well, if I move it there, this means I'm still holding on to one, like I just got to play my whole turn around it. I like it.
And just so you know, that card lets you move it anywhere.
Oh, really? Because I tried and you told me no.
Because you were trying to do both.
Yeah, which is fair, and I got the point, but you did tell me no.
I didn't know you were using a card to do that. You just handed me a food and said, I'm moving it, and then you hopped.
We all knew it was this one.
No, we did not.
I did.
See, and that's another thing that I will say is, because you brought up the axe, and like, I could have been like, no, Nate's exhausted.
Yeah.
I don't like babysitting other people's cards.
That's true.
That's just me personally. So
yeah.
So it's fair that you guys didn't know that that's what it was. But
right, and that's not an Empires of the North complaint.
It's
just Imperial Settlers
general,
in general.
yeah.
Like you have to be like, okay, so what do all your cards do?
And in Imperial Settlers, I'll say it's worse because their fucking print is so fucking tiny.
They made the text in this one a lot better.
Yes.
Because even in the other one, like I was like, no, there's a lot of text. No, there's not. There's like
it's like 3 words.
Bonus production, and it's like tiny up at the top and then blank.
So
I'm like, what the hell? Just fill up your card.
I appreciate the enhanced text.
Yeah. But you're right, and one thing I don't like about this game is the lack of organization. Like,
indeed,
you have to invent it yourself.
Why didn't they just have?
I had to, because I'm like, fields, ice cubes, whales.
Yep, these are all my actions. These were all my banks and my 2 fields that I had the whole game.
I did my features and actions, and
I'm really glad. Like, I like this one a lot because literally I have no other fields in this entire. It's just all banks, and So I'm glad they at least gave me like gold that I could kind of cycle, and then like with my royal bank, which gets me more gold as I slowly build it up.
So I actually had a question. I was gonna wait for the discussion. It's in here.
Okay.
This top one. New outpost. Spend a person and choose one field in my empire and return it to my hand. Gain a point or a card.
Mm-hmm.
I was curious, could I return a basic to hand and then immediately play it? Since it is a field.
That's interesting. Can I see it?
Because otherwise, I would have been doing that.
Spell to choose one field.
And those are fields. It doesn't say though, and basics don't have a cost.
Yeah, you're right.
So I would have just been putting them back in my hand and generating points.
Well, you can only use this once.
Well, I mean, but
yeah.
Until I got, where was it? This one.
I would say
spend a person and unexhaust all.
Yeah.
So
I would say yeah, because you're right. They don't have a cost, so they essentially would be free to put down, and there's no different field like to it. At first, I was thinking it was like one of Cat's like extra not basic fields.
Yeah.
But the symbols are all the same. So yeah, I mean, I would say, and if not, then it would be maybe the one that you had to construct to build.
Maybe.
Then you can't move a basic, but I don't know. The rulebook is not the best. Once again, Portal is just really, really bad about rulebooks.
I would say her keep popping this whale haul in my hand and just placing it to get 2 fish.
Oh, right.
Because you would get the bonus
whenever you play it. Yeah.
When you play it.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. Like, I think, and that's actually the other good thing is I've played that one. I've seen it played twice. I've only played this one once, seen that one once. But they do such a good job with card synergy. Like,
they really do.
Now, what I don't like about this one, this is why I say that's a good example, scythe to my little scythe, but this is Gateway Imperial Settlers, because in Imperial Settlers, one thing I forgot to mention that I really like is the cards have multi-use. You can either use it for its production, or to make a deal, or to raise it. I love hand management and card variation. This doesn't have any of that.
Nope.
It's just, this is what it is.
This is what this does.
They still did a really good job at having different combinations and ways to play your faction. However, like I said, you're still limited to kind of what you can do. This one, you're always going to be doing the bank stuff. Like, always. That one, you're always going to be generating. This one's a little bit more variety than this one is. So, that leads me to the next thing about this game that throws a wrench in it, is the islands. What do you guys think about the islands?
Once again, I just didn't care.
I really don't like it.
Like I sailed once to get the old college try, and then I was like, I've
played a clan that focuses heavily around that, and I did it quite a bit in this one too to get more resources to put onto my thing.
Yeah.
I don't really like it, which is a shame because that's like the biggest difference. Besides, I really like this. It's not that I hate that. I just think it's kind of unnecessary.
I don't like the fact that you have to waste an action
to go sailing.
Yeah.
Because, like, I guess that's one way my deck mitigated it, because it says explore or sail.
Mm-hmm.
So I can just spend a person and a fish, sail, and then I can use
both your things to explore
and
do anything.
So essentially this gave me 6 actions.
Right.
And then this card actually added 2 more, so it gives me up to 8.
Right. Well,
so, because this says spend a person, unexhaust all the polar bear riders.
Right, but you can only use that once.
Use it once.
Oh, you have 2 of them. Sorry.
And then unexhaust both of them.
Yeah, I didn't know you had 2. Yeah, exactly, and that's kind of what this becomes very important. But then, as the game goes on, you start getting more cards that allow you to give you more actions that allow you to play your faction even better. But yeah, like, it's not bad. Like, I don't hate it, but it just seems like it's just like, okay, well, I can go over there.
I would have liked it more if it was a module expansion.
Yeah, just something else, because, like, maybe with more variety of islands, because none of them are ever quite good enough that it's like, oh, I have to have that.
Some of them aren't even, like, good enough, like, to conquer.
You're right.
Right. The only way you would conquer them is to get the extra point for having one at the end. Yep. But then the one at the very bottom, like, pillage the sea serpent island, gives you 3 points. Cool.
Neat.
I mean, you really you have two options. You can pillage them to gain the resources, which are heavily needed, or you can obviously conquer them, which give you more variation and things to do. But I never quite found that they were good enough. I think they were just that extra thing that's like, well, that's there.
Like you said, when I went to conquer the one, you're like, why? You'll get 1 point instead of 2 if you just pillage it.
Exactly.
And it's like, why make the benefit that bad for conquering it?
And it's because, you should it depends on when these cards come out. And it's like, oh, okay, if I conquer that one early on, it's really good. There's one in here, you can spend a person to unexhaust a card in your empire, which is really good because then, hey, my trade deal can go off multiple times now, which I just release those and get points and yada yada. So, I don't know. It's there, but yeah, you're right. It should be a module thing. Our cat is playing with this stupid...
We're being flanked. One threw up behind us and the other one's playing with.
So, you still don't like that?
No, I just don't care for it.
Yeah.
And it's what you said. Like, I don't hate it. I have no reason to really just dislike it. It takes away from what I already want to do
Will
here.
you get away from that?
Link, please stop. Mind you.
Ooh.
Feisty ass.
Almost bit me.
But yeah, it's just, I just don't care for it.
Yeah.
Eh.
Other than that, like, with I thought I'd have more comparisons. I think I did talk about that. Like the workers harvesting and all that. Imperial Settlers I like. I don't know. I actually like them both. In all reality, it's a different way to play. The real question is, do you think that the games are different enough to own both?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would too. I would say, even though, funny enough, the people I played this with never played either of them ever, and not even really like gamers. Like they played very few party games.
Monopoly. Monopoly.
No, like Betrayal at the House on the Hill and One Night Ultimate Werewolf and things like that. But they liked Imperial Settlers better than this one.
Yeah.
Not saying this one's bad by any means. I actually like a lot of what it does. But at the same time, I will say that Imperial Settlers came out 4 years ago. This came out this year. So Imperial Settlers has the time to grow and have the expansions that make or break the game.
Which they've already got one announced.
They have one announced for this one. It is going to be, I think, the Japanese faction.
Oh, that's funny.
Let's see if I can even find it. Empires of the North.
Invasion from Rokugan. Just add all of L5R into this.
Yeah, that'd be really cool.
The Phoenix clan shows up.
Oh, it just destroys us with their Mayho. Oh, jeez. I can't ever find it on their stupid ass app.
But, yeah. I would, if I had to pick between the two, I would pick Imperial Settlers.
Well, you hit him and just get him off the...
Schmack.
Like...
Just scare him away.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, he's a pretty persistent asshole.
Anyway, sorry, what?
Anyway, if I had to pick between the two, like if you invited me over and you were like, hey, which one would you want to play? I would definitely pick Imperial Settlers first.
Right. I agree.
But, like, if it came down to, like, this and maybe another really close game to what this is like, this is not out of the question.
Yeah. I mean, this one's still fun, and there might actually be times where I'd rather play this over Imperial, only because it is easier to just, hey, here's your deck, let's just...
This is all you got.
Yeah, this is it.
Make it work.
Enough to finagle anything, but I think Imperial Settlers still does everything better. So, with that being said, scale of 1 to 10, Cat. Actually, no, we'll start with you. We started with you last time.
I give it a 8.
8?
That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah. I'm at an 8 as well. You gave Imperial Settlers an 8.5.
Yeah.
You and I gave it a 9. So, like I said, this is not bad by any means.
Oh no.
On Board Game Geek, this has an 8.1, but with only 197 ratings. And Imperial Settlers it came out in 2014. Has a 7.5, and that has 18,000 ratings.
Yeah.
So, I mean, only time will tell. Expansions, they could just keep adding just faction decks and more islands. I would definitely say more islands, but they don't need to do anything weird like they do with the other ones, I don't think. So, that's our thoughts on Empires of the North. Let us know what you think of the game in the comments below. Other than that, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you.
Hey everyone, thanks so much for watching this, and if you like this video, then click the subscribe button below to enjoy any video that I put out. And right next to that subscribe button is a little bell. Click that so you get notified of whenever I actually upload these videos. If you want to support the channel, you can definitely visit my Patreon page. The link is in the description below. Other than that, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you.